Game begin.
We're back with the NWES Esports Weekly Esports Update. I'm here with Daniel Mitre, CEO of NWES Esports. And today we're going to talk about the NWES Esports portfolio and the methodology for making acquisitions into the portfolio. Dan, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's always great to be here with you, James.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dan, let's start with an overview of the philosophy guiding your investment process.
Yeah, so NWES Esports, very top level, we are in the business of pushing esports forward. It's an industry that I grew my career out of, which is gaming. So I got a lot of skin in here, and it's something I'm very passionate about. And the communities latching onto this are also very passionate with gaming in general and the esports industry. But NWES is here to push esports forward. We innovate. We have purpose in our investments, and our sole goal is to elevate the esports and competitive gaming industries. And we do that by placing capital into early and mid-stage companies, but most importantly, we become operators within every investment. So we come in, we operationalize these companies, we bring in help with their weaknesses. Maybe they don't have a strong marketing team, we have a marketing background. Maybe they need help in capital and market movement or legal preparation. Well, we have back office services there. And so we compensate that by taking stock options. But we're here to help these companies grow with sustainability in mind. And NWES is set up into two pillars. We have an acquisition arm, which is our top line revenue performers. So those top line revenues are coming in and helping NWES's valuation increase, our share price increase. But we also have our holdings arm, which is the traditional sort of investment model in which we latch on those operative components.
And so to some degree, you're an incubator.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, esports within North America is growing. This is at the infancy stage in a lot of regards, especially relative to, say, Asia or Europe. So we are an incubator in the sense that we come in, we bring in that working capital, give them the firepower they need in order to continue developing their businesses and see the revenues come in year over year.
Okay, so the argument for investing in NWES Esports is, I guess, then diversification, and therefore protection from the downside by having a diversified exposure, your expertise in evaluating esports opportunities, and then obviously access to opportunities in the industry by virtue of your connectivity to the industry.
Yeah, a lot of people ask, well, why invest in NWES when I could just go invest in a single team? Well, you certainly can, but certain verticals and especially specific verticals can be volatile all by themselves in a vacuum. And the portfolio that we bring, we're very excited about. We're very proud. This is portfolio we brought to the CSE. We're publicly traded now. We're 13th day in our public trading, seeing some awesome volumes. What we say here is you invest in the esports ecosystem, and the ecosystem is what pushes esports forward, not just a single vertical. And the ecosystem is reliant on each other, or the verticals within the ecosystem is reliant on each other. So you have teams, right? And we invest very much into teams, but teams need a place to play.
Okay.
And so that's why we invest in events and activations. Well, events and activations need those teams to come out, but they also need a platform to connect people online to tell them about the news coming up or compete in online tournaments, and that's where the platforms come into play. So without the optimized businesses within each one of these verticals, none of them can survive. And so when you invest in to NWES, you invest in the ecosystem. And it's the ecosystem that pushes the industry forward.
So specifically, what kind of esports companies within the ecosystem are you most attracted to presently?
So we broke down the esports ecosystem into 4 verticals: teams and organizations, events and tournament organizers, platforms and networks, and technologies and tools. And within those, there are some gargantuan players that are really bringing in some incredible marketing exposure. They're hitting some awesome headlines, whether it's a big capital raise or they want a big prize purse. So let's take, for example, one of our teams that we invested in, Lazarus, which is owned and operated operated by Tidal. They went out, they won $3.5 million in the Fortnite World Cup, and because of those revenues coming in, Tidal is able to reinvest into other acquisitions. So they just locked down Space Gaming, which is an online tournament provider, and some other organizations within that. But Tidal is very much working as an esports organization as well. And so they understand the value of diversifying even their investments. And so yes, we bring a very diversified and resilient portfolio to the public market.
Fantastic. Okay, so what are the risks for investors who don't approach the entire esports opportunity with this kind of a holistic viewpoint?
Well, you get a very narrow view. And there was a tweet recently going around with a team that released their financial statements, and they saw some profitability here in so far in 2018 and 2016, with a negative hit in 2017. You can't just look at that as a single indicator of how the esports industry is moving and the profitability there. You need to look at it holistically. What's the event operators doing? What's the platforms and networks? How are they monetizing on their hundreds of thousands of users within their ecosystem? How are tech and tools really supporting the backbone of the industry? So as an investor, you should look at the industry as a whole and not just a sliver of that to really understand the potential here, the growth multipliers, and where the real revenue opportunities lie.
Interesting. All right, we're going to leave it there for now, Daniel. We'll come back to you again next week. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, James.